Is this finally the blockbuster move Dallas Cowboys fans have been waiting for, or is it all just smoke before the deadline? Reports are now suggesting that Max Crosby to Dallas isn't dead and could actually be revisited when the pressure hits at the NFL trade deadline. Some believe the Cowboys are setting the stage for a massive franchise-changing deal, while others think this is just another rumor that won't materialize. But here's the twist. If talks really heat up again, Dallas could suddenly go from a solid defense to one of the most feared units in the league overnight. So is this real or just the calm before another big letdown? The energy around the Dallas Cowboys just shifted in a massive way because reports tied to ESPN are hinting at something that could completely reshape the future of this franchise. And if you're a Cowboys fan, you need to hear this carefully because this is not just another rumor floating around the NFL world. This is something insiders believe could actually happen when the pressure hits its peak at the trade deadline. And the name at the center of it all is none other than Max Crosby, one of the most dominant defensive players in the entire league right now. A relentless force who has built his reputation as a nightmare for quarterbacks and a leader on and off the field. And the idea that he could be wearing a Cowboys jersey has fans buzzing like never before. Now think about what this really means for a second, because we're not talking about a minor roster tweak or a depth addition. We're talking about a potential blockbuster move that could instantly transform Dallas into one of the most feared defenses in the NFL. And when you combine the current defensive core with a player like Crosby, you're not just improving, you're elevating the entire identity of the team. You're sending a message to the rest of the league that the Cowboys are no longer wait. They're not rebuilding. They're going all in. And that kind of mindset changes everything. But here's where things get even more interesting, because the connection between Crosby and the Cowboys isn't coming out of nowhere. There have been whispers, there have been discussions behind the scenes, and now those conversations are starting to surface in a more serious way, especially with the Las Vegas Raiders facing uncertainty about their long-term direction. And whenever a team is in that position, big names start to come into play. Trade scenarios begin to form, and contenders like the all start circling, looking for that one move that could push them over the top. And let's be real here. The Cowboys have been in that exact position for years now. They've had talent, they've had moments of brilliance, but when it comes to making that deep playoff run, something has always been missing. Something has always held them back. And fans have been asking the same question over and over again. What is it going to take for Dallas to finally break through? What is the move that changes everything? And this right here could be the answer. Imagine this defense with Crosby added into the mix. Imagine the pressure coming from every angle. Imagine opposing quarterbacks trying to read a defense that suddenly has no clear weakness. That's the kind of impact we're talking about. And it's not just about stats. It's about mentality. It's about bringing in a player who plays with intensity on every single snap, who sets the tone, who refuses to back down. And that kind of presence can shift an entire locker room. But of course, a move like this doesn't come easy, and it definitely doesn't come cheap, because the Raiders are not just going to give away one of their best players without a serious return. So now the conversation shifts to what Dallas would have to offer. And this is where things get really strategic, because the Cowboys would likely need to put together a package that includes high draft picks, possibly a combination of future assets, and maybe even a player or two. And that's where the front offices have to make a tough decision. Are they willing to sacrifice part of their future for a chance to win right now? And that's the biggest question surrounding this entire situation, because going all in is a bold move. It's a risky move, but it's also the kind of move that championship teams make. And if the Cowboys truly believe they are just one piece away, then making a push for Crosby could be exactly what they need to do. And according to these reports, this is not something that's being dismissed. This is something that could be revisited when the trade deadline approaches, when teams have a clearer. Picture of where they stand and when urgency starts to take over. Now let's talk about timing, because timing is everything in a situation like this, and the trade deadline is where things get intense. It's where contenders separate themselves from pretenders. It's where front offices either make their move or sit back and watch opportunities pass them by. And if Dallas is in a strong position when that moment arrives, you better believe they're going to be aggressive. You better believe they're going to explore every option available. And Crosby's name will be right there at the top of the list. And for Crosby himself, this would be a massive shift, moving from a team that's trying to find its footing to a team that's built to compete, a team with a massive fan base, a team with expectations every single season. And that kind of environment can bring out the best in elite players. It can push them to another level. And if that happens, we could be looking at one of the most dangerous defensive units in football. But there's also another layer to this story, and that's the message it sends to the rest of the Cowboys roster. Because when a team makes a move like this, it shows commitment, it shows belief. It tells every player in that locker room that the organization is serious about winning right now. And that kind of energy can be contagious. It can spark something special, something that goes beyond just talent and strategy. At the same time, there will always be doubters. There will always be people who question whether giving up assets for one player is the right move, whether it's worth the risk, whether it could backfire in the long run. And those are valid concerns, because the NFL is unpredictable. Injuries happen, chemistry takes time, and not every big trade works out the way teams hope it will. But sometimes you have to take that leap. Sometimes you have to trust your instincts and go for it. And if you look at the Cowboys' history, if you look at their current roster, if you look at the expectations surrounding this team, it's clear that standing still is not an option. Doing nothing is not going to change the narrative. It's not going to silence the critics. It's not going to bring them closer to a championship. And that's why a move like this is being taken seriously, because it represents something bigger than just adding a player. It represents a shift in mindset. So now the countdown begins. The speculation will continue, the rumors will grow louder, and every update will be analyzed. Every report will be dissected, because this is the kind of story that captures attention. This is the kind of possibility that gets fans talking, that gets analysts debating, that gets the entire league watching closely. And as we get closer to the trade deadline, the pressure will only increase. And if this deal actually happens, if the Cowboys manage to bring Max Crosby to Dallas, it won't just be another headline. It will be a defining moment for this franchise, a move that could shape the outcome of the season, a move that could finally push them into that elite category they've been chasing for so long. And until that moment arrives, all eyes will remain on this situation, because something big could be coming, and Cowboys fans know it. So stay locked in, because this story is far from over. And if the reports are true, if the conversations continue, if the timing aligns, we could be witnessing one of the biggest trades in recent NFL history. And it all centers around one question: will the Cowboys make their move when it matters most, or will they let this opportunity slip away?